Hi everybody, hello to all my wonderful patrons and people who could wait a year. Thanks for waiting a year and or being a beautiful, wonderful, beautiful, wonderful patron. I am about to record the episode of Fix My Car Cast where I go to the fair, which requires a little bit of a different camera setup, and I'm too lazy to switch out tripods, so I'm recording it in my car. There you go, a little behind the scenes action. I have printed off my script because I'm about to head to the fair like real soon. Like I'm jumping in the car going to the fair as soon as I finish this. Really down to the wire. So thanks for joining me, and I hope we have a good time at the fair. If this is your first dance with the Cumberland Fair, welcome. I'm bringing two of the stupid things I do together, because that's what I do. I bring stupid things together. Let me think of an opening line here. What is this, a crossover episode? This is where the theme song goes. There's a loud car. I don't know why I did this in a car. You're listening to Fix My Car Cast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 91. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert is getting a deep-fried Dr. Seuss hat and a cup of hot slush. But first, housekeeping. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. You need something probably with pot leaves on it coming from a shady guy in a tent. Well, guess what? You can get something just as good, but on TeePublic. Check it out. Check those links. We have a new donor this week. Chad donated $20. Thank you so much, Chad. The total raised for paying off my car repair debt is now $1,542. Pause for truck. Also, when we get to $2,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will watch all the Fast and Furious movies back to back and then record my podcast at the end. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $3,000? Just like the kid who entered the pit of shadows without a bracelet. Hey, do you like the theme song? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever. Unless somebody else changes it back. Want me to add a ballad about Grandma's last roller coaster ride? I'll do it. $50. She ain't getting any younger, so if you want to make a tribute to her, get on down there. We have two new patrons this week. Thank you, Terpsichore, for becoming a Bear Claw buddy, and M. Seeks for becoming a Bear Claw bystander. I hope you enjoy all the Patreon perks that come with being such dedicated fans. Also, congratulations to Terpsichore for winning the Silver Nutmeg Award. Matt won the Gold Nutmeg Award last week. What the hell am I talking about? Join the Patreon and find out. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly I think the show is more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. So something I could talk about is my gender identity journey. Yes, wait. Guys, I didn't change this part of the script. And guess what? That's actually the topic for this week. No going back, I gotta go to the fair. Anyway, thanks, Chad, for picking the topic I suggested last week. Well, I fucked up, so something I could talk about is Legos. They're fun, so, you know, sponsor me talking about Legos. Want to know more? Donate today. Friends, do not make a podcast when you're in a hurry. And now a friendly reminder, I bet I didn't change this either. And now a friendly reminder that I have a spooky new album out. It's called Cult Horror, Original Motion Picture Soundtrack. And it is both a love letter to horror movie scores and a concept album as a soundtrack to a film that doesn't exist. So please go check it out, leave a review, tell your friends, etc., etc. 'Tis the season for horror music, so if your friend's throwing a Halloween party, tell them they gotta check it out. Check the links in the description and enjoy the album that one friend said, shit, I still need to listen to that. Did I do that last week too? Man, it's a blur. I'm so excited for the fair. Checking in on the best city in the world based on which city listened to the last episode the most, and we have a tie between Portland, Maine and Boston, Massachusetts. Nice. Ties are broken by whichever city listened to the most episodes, and our big winner is Portland, Maine. Congratulations, Portland, Maine. Let it be known that your Kitchener Ironworks, Standpipe, and House on 29 Niebolt Street are the best in the world for 7 days. Last episode, I talked about Portland, Maine's local burlesque scene while recording it in a town square. You can see video of the entire episode, including the statue of Temperance Monument, inventor of Portland, over on Patreon. Also, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about my friend who made a movie. By the way, I need to raise $600 by October 6th. Yep, it's car shit again. If you've ever thought about donating to Fix My Carcast or telling the person in the Ferrari who just hit you about this show, now is the perfect time to do it. Okay, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick. They are: number 1, give myself a face painting. Number 2, do it like a crocodile hunter episode. Number 3, flip a coin heads 3 times in a row. And our returning gimmick, number 4, record it on a boat. Let's do those again. Number 1, give myself a face painting. Number 2, do it like a crocodile hunter episode. Number 3, flip a coin heads 3 times in a row. And number 4, record it on a boat. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes October 5th at noon Eastern America time. All right, time for today's gimmick, which is record it at the fair. Of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way, in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. So right now, I'm in my car in Columbus, Ohio, Maine, right outside of my job where I build things. But in just a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers and I'll be at the scenic Cumberland Fair in Cumberland, Maine. Ready? And now I am in the gimmick zone. From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. Today's topic comes to us from Chad for $20, and I've been asked to talk about my gender fluidity journey. But before I do that, let's just drink in the fair of it all. We've got Ferris wheels, but most importantly, we've got Bigfoot holding an American flag, and definitely in the style of Harry and the Hendersons specifically. So I'm just gonna wander about and see what there is to see and tell you about my journey of how I discovered my gender fluidity. And it's a long old tale and it takes a while to tell, but I'm here to tell it because if there's any place to talk about your queer identity, it's surrounded by the most MAGA hats I've ever seen in one place all year. So really looking forward to this. Full disclosure, I was not gonna do the show mobile, but kinda gotta because this place is crawling with security and I'm just suspicious looking in general, you know? I do have a gigantic mic cord hanging off of the camera, so if that snags on anything, good night, folks. Can't blur faces because there's just too many faces, but not a concern if you're only listening to the audio version. So, working my way through a crowd of folks, maybe I'll head over more towards where the animals are, maybe some picnic tables. Yeah, this one's gonna be on the fly, folks. So, a little easier to hear. We've found ourselves a back corner of water pumps and where they dump all the trash. So let's talk about dumping some of my trash, which was my masculinity. Yeah, so I mean, if you're not familiar with the trans concept of an egg, it's basically the idea that like you're trans but you haven't figured it out yet. And let me tell you what, I was that for a really long time. I found kind of a central location where I can walk around, but also with security people who might be wondering what I'm doing right now, and I have to fill some time. So maybe this one will have some edits. This is fun. This is a really fun experience. I'm glad to be having it. Look at the fair. I love Cumberland Fair. Just my absolute favorite thing every year. You know, I love, oh, sorry. I love bumping into people, literally and figuratively. People from 2 or 3 walks of life are everywhere, and I'm just having a blast. So, yeah, I was a trans egg for a while. There's a lot of little signs. I've heard a very prominent one is when you realize that literally everyone you've dated is bisexual. Had that realization a few years ago. It's like, oh, something about you is working for both sides, for all sides, maybe, depending on who you're dating. So yeah, that was a big one. My affinity for The Little Mermaid and Mulan and The Matrix, and later Rocky Horror, but I was not into it initially. You know why? Because I didn't know why anyone thought it was funny. I was just like, yeah, I completely understand this character, save for the murders, but you know, the sci-fi and the wearing fancy lingerie I was all about. So yeah, those were some early moments. I think for me, I definitely had to go through like different stages. I said that while walking towards a stage, and I think I'm just going to commit to the bit now. Is something happening on it? I can't tell. Might be. All right, can't go on that stage. But yeah, I think the thing is like your gender journey is kind of always ongoing. You really have to figure it out for yourself. So good luck to you if you're currently figuring yours out. And, you know, if you got any questions, talk to me about it. But yeah, sorry, it is my thoughts are as jumbled as the crowd at a fair doing this. I gotta say, I'm actually enjoying the challenge of like trying not to step in shit while telling you about all the times I stepped in shit trying to be a man, which I am not. So yeah, I don't know if I've really said it fully on the show, but currently I identify as gender fluid, which is part of non-binary, which is part of trans. I feel like just giving you all the dictionary definitions is not really what you're looking for here. But okay, I have been eyed by security, and typically security and I do not get along well at Cumberland Fair. If you're new to learning about what Cumberland Fair is, go take a peek on Instagram or Facebook or I guess Twitter for as long as we have that, but it's getting real Nazi over there, so I'm feeling like maybe the ethical thing to do is to drop out of Twitter. And I'm saying what the ethical thing to do is when I have made a fake fair that tricks people with silly posters. Did I say a fake fair? No, I don't run this fair. I'm coming to check this fair out. This is my favorite fair. You know, occasionally I do poster work for them. And it's legitimate, and I'm proud of it. But yeah, it has been a bit of a struggle lately to be seen as a serious artist. I think people don't like my poster designs. You know, if you're trying to keep up with canon at this point, you're going to have to listen to the bonus episode where I discuss what is and isn't canon. I don't remember which one that is, so I guess just to be safe, sign up for my Patreon at the highest possible level and listen to every single one of them. So, my journey, some of it, definitely, there's some dark parts, and I'm going to keep it as light as I can for this light entertainment podcast fundraiser. But yeah, no, definitely some moments in like my dating history realizing like, oh, the thing that's not working is me. Like I'm not being my authentic self in these relationships, and as a result, it's making them suffer. And so like I had some moments of that. Don't want to go too dark, but like I had some moments of like, you know, masculinity presumed and then an angry reaction for not being manly enough. And I'm not going to get into it too much, but you know, it was a real turning point for me. But the final, I think I need a new name, and I think I need to try some new pronouns. It's going to sound really silly, but fitting that it's almost October. I actually had the final realization, and this is just so Billy. If literally any other trans person out there has this experience, you let me know. But it was Halloween, and you know what? I need to go back a little bit. So I was doing a lot of burlesque, as I mentioned, you know, last week. You know, I did a lot of burlesque. I haven't done a lot lately. More of a fan, more of in the crowd at present. But when I was doing it, at one point, the host asked me, do you want to host the show in drag? And I was like, oh, sure. I've never really tried drag. Like all the characters I played had been male as I could make them anyway. And so I said, sure, why not? And I bought my first dress, and I wore it, and I pretty much instantly said, this isn't drag. Enjoyed it, enjoyed the way I looked in it, just really, really was in my element. It wasn't an instantaneous, oh, this is who I am, but like I had been thinking of wearing dresses for a while. I also did once as part of like a high school hazing kind of a thing. For you visual enjoyers, just what a gorgeous shot of the Ferris wheel. Got to stand here for a bit. So yeah, tried on my dress for my first drag performance. Still did the performance, but yeah, it felt right. It felt good. If you're one of those people who's like, I don't know if I'm quite ready to change my pronouns, but I do think about wearing this sometimes. Wear it. Whatever it is, throw it on. Because guess what? It's not going to kill anybody unless, I don't know, it's made of spikes and you run into a crowd. But, you know, wear it. That thing you're thinking of wearing, throw it on. That is my advice to you. Do not hesitate. That's step 1, or it could be step 7, wherever you're at in your journey. But yeah, so that really hit me. But the thing that made me finally go, all right, new name, new pronouns, was dressing up as, do you have your guesses in the tank? What do you think? Ariel, Jessica Rabbit, Hello Kitty? What do you think it was? Michael Myers, you're correct. It was Michael Myers. Dressing up as Michael Myers, the serial killer from Halloween, made me finally crack my egg. Now, before I sound like I am an actual serial killer in real life, which I'm sure the trans community would love that stereotype, see also why none of us like Silence of the Lambs. What it was I went to a party in character, and I realized at that party that people truly do perceive you differently based on the way you are presenting. I had kind of sort of come to terms with like, all right, this is the kind of person I am, but I don't know if I need to change anything. And just like being at the party but feeling like I wasn't there is what finally made me go, oh, I'm not here. When I show up wearing the same Dumpy Star Trek t-shirts, which nothing against Dumpy Star Trek t-shirts, wear those if that's part of your journey. But yeah, it was just a turning point of like, oh, people treat you like the way you're presenting. It's time to present differently. So I remember sending out a text that said, please call me Billy. I won't tell you what I went by before in case any jerks find this podcast, because boy, they love to heap that dead name on you. If you're entirely new to any of this gender stuff, your dead name is the name that people used to call you before you found the name that fits you. So that's what a dead name is. Don't wear it out, ever. And so I finally sent the text to all my friends, you know, all the people closest to me, like, please come to the Big Chicken at the information booth. If you're looking for Big Chicken, it's at the information booth. So yeah, that was kind of my moment, and it feels silly to say that it's like, you know, everyone's assumption is like, oh, you wore some glamorous outfit. Nah, nah, I was wearing a jumpsuit and a William Shatner mask. So I guess thanks, William Shatner. I think he would probably be happy to know that he was part of my journey of self-discovery. I mean, if he's not all about exploring strange new worlds, then what's he even doing? I'm getting tired from walking around and ducking the security, so I'm going to sit here in the stands because there's not currently a demonstration going on right now. By the way, if you're watching the video version, what a crossover, huh? I realize I need to get something for a thumbnail. Hey! Oh, everything's all wrinkly. So yeah, I told people any pronouns are fine, and then I realized very quickly, I think like a week later, I was like, you know what? No more he. Because here's the thing. Not a man, gonna say that outright. Non-binary, gender fluid. That's me. But I feel like masculinity and femininity and 7 or 8 other genders, you know, they're all swirling around. You kind of got to figure it out for yourself. And you know, if you live in a society that says, don't figure things out for yourself, you need some authority figure to tell you what to do and how to live. Well, I got news for you. We're all just trying to get through this. Not to crib from the Barbie movie once again, but you know, we come up with these ideas and sometimes they serve us and sometimes they don't. And I'm ready to serve, baby. It's really nice to be sitting now and to find a corner without too many people, but still you can see the bright lights of the fair. You know what never fails to make me smile? A little kid in a cowboy hat. Before they speak, because they might be repeating some talking points they learned from their parents, but until they speak, adorable. Kids in cowboy hats. I'm getting very good at hosting a podcast in a crowd of people and no one cares what I'm doing. Maybe I just have that commanding presence. I have the authority. But yeah, so gender journey. I kind of wanted to sit down to gather my thoughts a little better, because every time I felt like I was gravitating towards something, I would bump into someone just trying to enjoy their corn dog. Great day at the fair, if I can just talk about that. Like, oh my gosh, the deep fried medical tent is out. The zipper is down, but you know, what are you gonna expect? You can't see it, but a kid just jumped the fence and it was awesome. And another kid jumped the fence, equally awesome. Good job, kids, which I'm gonna keep out of this video. Yeah, blurring this one, not gonna be a thing. Anyway, gender journey, what's my gender journey? Yeah, there was a lot of other stops along the way, you know, and definitely like it does help to have partners that are supportive when you're going through your gender journey. You know, even though I'm not a loner per se, but like I do kind of pride myself in a certain amount of independence. Like I like to have a wide variety of people in my life, and the ones who see me for who I really am have been very helpful. There's so many stops along the way. Like a thing I think about a lot is like, what if I told every single person who helped me on my journey like the specific thing they did? Would they be creeped out, or would they be like, aw? I remember the first person who called me girl. I remember I wore makeup to a David Bowie themed birthday party, posted a photo, you know, with some caption like, "Bruh, my makeup's terrible." And somebody posted, "Oh girl, you just got to practice your eyeliner," and tingles, like, I also got invited to a lot of stuff that was girls only, because I assumed just because I'm that fun that we can bend the rules a little bit, but I was bending more than the rules. I was bending gender, and that's exciting. Like, yeah, there's so many little moments. You know, the host who suggested that I do drag, you know, that was such a pivotal moment. Also, I think I mentioned earlier, sorry that my memory's a little hazy from, you know, bouncing around the fair, but oh yeah, I did like, in hindsight, probably not a thing we should do anymore, but like rent a senior, that kind of thing. I did one of those fundraisers, and the person who got me wanted me to wear a dress while I was, you know, following them around on campus and assisting them. And I remember like a TA coming over and being like, "This is not okay. This is harassment. This is embarrassing. This is insulting." And I was the one who spoke up and was like, half the people here wear dresses, so what does it mean when they wear it? And like, I had like that was a little crack in the shell there. Like, oh yeah, no, that is how I feel, and yeah, what's wrong with you? I think you're the one who's like, this is the worst thing you can do to a person. Make them wear a dress. To all my dress wearers out there, isn't it the absolute worst? Only if it doesn't have pockets. Also, if it's too long. I have eaten shit in a dress like 5 times. Put that on a t-shirt out of context. We're not going there. We're at the fair, where, by the way, it smells like it. No, but I mean, like, I've fallen, dinged my head because I was like trying to walk up a hill with way too long a dress. or something like that. So yeah, I don't even remember the sentence I just said, but it was dirty. So yeah, a lot of, yeah, sorry I didn't make this a more coherent flow, but like, you know, just people being supportive and slowly, you know, trying out new looks and trying out new things. I feel like there's some wobble where I was like, we're going hyper femme, and then I've had like, I'm really finding my gender neutral in the middle. Like, I wore a lot of Hawaiian shirts, which I'm convinced is the official shirt of the gender identity questioner. Your day's coming, Weird Al. But yeah, it's like a pretty floral print, but it's still cut like, you know, like a dude shirt. And yeah, no, I've been finding like more kind of like femme cuts of similarly Hawaiian prints. So yeah, just things like that, like finding that middle ground. You know, sometimes I keep the mustache, like just because I'm not using he. Like sometimes I'm just like, you know what, let's keep that mustache. Let's clear this up. Keep the mustache, put a little lipstick on. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Yeah, I have so many people to thank for showing me makeup tips. I don't want to like name names in this because I feel like it'll be sad if I miss someone because I'm such a scatterbrain and I don't want to miss anybody talking about my gender journey. But yeah, this is. I thought this would be more difficult at the fair, but I think we're kind of wrapping up here. So yeah, I feel like I wanted to do like a textbook, like, all right, are you questioning your gender? Do you want to explore gender? Do you want to do away with gender? Like, let's talk about it. Let's get into it, buddy. You know, Chad, if you pick this topic because you're questioning your gender, well, I'll help you out, buddy. But yeah, and that goes to anyone listening to this who's like, I don't know, maybe I want to try a little something. Well, you know, come talk to me. I've never felt more comfortable. I mean, look at this look I got right now. Like, I feel like I'm, you know, I'm wibbly wobbly Jendy Wendy over here. I just came up with my new burlesque name. No, we can think of a better one. I would want to be like a Baconator. Bacon ate her. That's, what am I doing? I'm vamping for time because I know that I got like 3 minutes left on this thing. Anyway, I hope you've had a fun time here at the fair with me. And you know what? I don't want to wrap just yet. Will you permit me an edit? Okay, thanks. As always, life is kind of like the Cumberland Fair. It's bright and noisy and there's way too many smells. But if you keep looking, you'll find something you like. So enjoy the ride. Also, you can never quite be sure why someone is screaming. Well, that was a fun one. Thanks for watching, everybody. We did it. We got the money shot on the Ferris wheel, so now I'll just get regular Ferris wheel footage, I guess, for Cumberland Fair. Thanks for joining me for the crossover no one asked for.